Hey guys, it's Mathel here once again, and today I want to talk about Path of Building, which is a program not too unsimilar to the just offline skill tree planner, except it's so much more extensive. Now, I've only recently started using it because I'm one of those old stubborn bastards that don't like change too often. So, you know, my offline skill tree was working just fine. I didn't see any reason to change. And I want to go over what this thing does because a lot of people, maybe like me, or just plain haven't even heard of the program before. And it really is, unfortunately, just too fucking good not to use or not to at least try out or know of. So you launch it up, and essentially what happens is you come back to your character screen here. This is all different builds you can make or save from your previous ones, and all you got to do really is hit new, I suppose, go to import, export, build. You can either start from absolute scratch and, you know, go to tree and start making a build, you know, planning it out like you would in the offline planner, or you can actually import your own characters. So you go to Mathel, that's my account name, so that's what it wants to start with. You hit the start, and then it gets you your character list. This is all the characters I have available at the moment, and the strength in this program is basically, so my current character is 0% fun. You'll click on that, 1 second, and there it is, and then you'll import the passive tree and jewels, and then you'll import the items and skills. And all of a sudden you have a full detailed rundown of all of your character's skills, how much damage they do, and the appropriate scalings of them for poison, ignite, you know, effective damage in every scenario based off resists, based off monsters you can fight. And it's really quite handy for figuring out the best things for your build. So the current build I'm running is with Molten Strike, and it's just there, so we have 149,000 total DPS. And really what it lets you do is then configure your items, configure your passive tree, and everything in between to find out the optimal setup for you. So something I needed for my character currently is to figure out whether 20 strength is going to be better than 16 elemental damage, and all it really is 149.65, plug it in, take those two out, and turns out it's a bit worse. So we're going to keep our elemental damage and drop our strength there, and it really lets you, you know, configure your passive tree to be the most efficient possible, as well as your gem links. So you go into, let's say for example, skills. It's got all your skills there. You can plug in new ones if you want, but we currently have Molten Strike in effect here, and there's all of your gem sockets. They're all currently enabled, so that means we are on a 6 link, and then you can pick up new gem slots and skills if you really want, and, you know, test out what's going to be better, what's going to be worse for you, and it tells you exactly what each of these are going to be doing as well. So, you know, if we want, for example, who gives a shit, let's say Fortify in our build. That adds almost no DPS because it really doesn't matter. We're currently on a 7 link. You take out your Fortify, or you can put it back in on a 7 link, take out early focus, and would you look at that, we lost 50,000 DPS, roughly 50% of our damage by taking out early focus and subbing in Fortify, and that lets us know it's not worth doing. Now, it's very useful for our poison calculation right now, which is something I've been using for the past couple of builds just to, you know, confirm what's happening with my builds. So the EK Pathfinder, for example, we go to, I believe he was the Deeps. This was my Pathfinder with Thera Knives, and it says total DPS is 5.4 million. And you can, you know, put in the exact scenarios for how you want that DPS to be active. So all of my flasks are presumably always going to be active, so that's what the calculations are based on. My skill, I've found out the optimal setup based off of my empowers, my ethereal knives, you know, what level of everything I can possibly get, and this is just figuring out the best possible DPS. So I currently would only have a you know, level 4 empower thanks to the chest, but it does factor that in if you're wearing a Skin of the Loyal already. I just put in, let's say, level 5 empower and level 22 EK to factor in a +1 Skin of the Loyal. So this is trying to figure out the optimal highest ever DPS EK for my character, and that just lets you play around with, theory crafting like that. Realistically though, we're just level 21, we're a level 4, and the DPS, it factors all that in, and you can see that just leveling in power once on this build, for example, boom, gives us 500,000 DPS, total DPS, including the poison itself. So unfortunately, this program is pretty goddamn insane, and it feels like cheating to me, because a lot of Path of Exile in the past, to me personally, was the mystery of it all, and, you know, trying to put together a build and figure it all out as you go, what the most efficient links are, what the most efficient gear slots, passive tree is, and just, you know, figuring it out and having a lot of trial and error, that sort of thing. This takes a lot of the mystery out of the game, so you just, you know, do exactly what the best setup is going to be, and you figure it out in the program here, which is really quick and easy to do. So then you don't really have to level your character up to 92 or so while trying to figure out the exact best, you know, everything. It isn't really too much unlike just spreadsheeting or theory crafting in the past, except that takes a lot longer, and quite a lot of us wouldn't have been willing to do that because it's just not particularly worth it. Better off just going out and testing it out and having more fun with it. But this saves you a lot of the time with all the instant calculations, and actually just, you know, being able to also customize your gear pretty easily. Something else that I guess I should go over. So, you know, here's your gear. If you want to customize anything, you just, let's say there's our weapon, we'll grab on a skewer, where is he? Right there, double click him, and there he is. So that's my current dagger. We can customize it and, you know, increase the crit, the spell damage, whatever we want. Likewise with flasks, or unique items I mean, you double click that, you can edit it, and, you know, make your Atziri flask as good as humanly possible, or as bad as possible, or, you know, let you know exactly what you're going to be dealing with your gear and your realistic limitations of your currency and all that. But there's quite a lot more about this sort of program. If you want to delve into it, you can go into the calculations and see exactly what it's doing in its calculations. You know, what's being affected, how many curses you're running, all your, you know, defenses and all that sort of thing, and same with the configuration here. So this is pretty straightforward. It's just going to tell you the parameters of what you're testing. Are you always on low life, which is, you know, going to enable so low life, so whether or not your pain attunement is active at all times. Are you calculating ignite average or just the crit damage, so the highest possible ignite? Does your build always run power charges, frenzy charges, you know, all that sort of stuff? Crit chance lucky, meaning our diamond flask is always up. You know, you can also check your DPS against bosses, so Shaper and regular bosses make it, you know, a lot different. So Shaper's got a lot of extra bullshit that makes him worse for you to attack. So our 4.9 million over here turns into 1.5 million effective DPS. So that's the best possible damage I can do against Shaper, which won't always happen. And it's good to know those sorts of things. As well as that, you can calculate different sorts of resists based off of what you know you're going to be getting in your build. Overall, it's kind of all I really want to mention about it, that it exists. If you don't know, quite a lot of people already know at this point, and it's been fairly common knowledge. I'm just a bit late to the party, so I figured I'd let you guys know, and a quick overview of what Path of Building is. It's pretty insane. It's, you know, it does feel a bit like cheating, taking a bit of the mystery out of the game, but it's kind of too good not to use, I'd say. So go right ahead, plan your builds, and it will go a long way for you to help learn the game, I'd say, to the same extent that the people that have been playing for a long time know and have learnt, because you'll then figure out what the best passive nodes are, what the best gem slots are. These are things that most people that have been playing a long time should already have a decent grasp on, but this will really solidify it, letting you know exactly what you should be taking, and figuring out what's completely worth it in your build and what isn't. So that's it for that one. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope this was a little bit informative, and see you next time.